So I have been working with a personal trainer for the past 2 months, meeting with her pretty much every single week for 1 hour sessions, and here's how it went. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here. Maybe you've been thinking about hiring a personal trainer because you are unmotivated, which is pretty much exactly why I decided to hire a personal trainer. I reached out to a trainer at my gym and we got a couple of sessions scheduled, and we started in late February and now it's late April, and I've been meeting with her pretty much every single week. So I wanted to give some more information on what that process was like, what the before, during, and after felt like for me, and what I'm gonna do moving forward, as well as talk through some of the things to consider if you're thinking about hiring a personal trainer. But I wanted to get a couple things straight. First is that personal training is expensive. Usually the services can range from anywhere between maybe $50 to $120 per hour. It is much more expensive than like a group class or anything else because it is one-on-one. And so you get a lot more attention and personalized instruction on your specific goals and correction of your form and programs that they build specifically for you. We've been signed up for our gym for a couple of years, and every time I would go, I would just kind of do the same couple of exercises and not really push myself. I would end up injuring my back or like having this like intense shoulder pain, and I just knew, I was like, I barely know what I'm doing. I think I really need to take time to learn like the proper way to exercise and proper form. I really wanted someone to point things out to me specifically and help me practice and nail down the form and the habits. And so I was willing to pay a premium for someone to give that information to me. I truly wanted to pay for the convenience and knew that I'm realistically not the type of person that would take the initiative to do this research on my own, which not everyone needs to do or should do. But I looked at it as an investment in my future. And so I allocated in my mind maybe a couple hundred or $1,000 to $2,000 or so to acquire the knowledge that I would be able to use for the rest of my life. My trainer, she asked me what my goals were, and I told her that I was interested in feeling and looking a little bit better for a music festival that I'm going to in a couple of weeks. But most importantly, I told her like main priority is just feeling good and figuring out the form, and I don't want to strain myself or injure myself when I exercise in the future. I rarely broke a sweat in the gym, so I'm like, it'd be great to be pushed a little bit, and she definitely took that and ran with that. Before I started working with the trainer, I was very unmotivated. I was going to the gym maybe maximum 2 to 3 times per week, and we would exercise at home, but it's just different when you're at the gym. You're paying for this. The time that you spend there is pretty much dedicated to exercising, whereas at home you have a lot more excuses and reasons to not actually focus on it and actually stick to it. The most ironic thing is that even when I did go to our gym, I would rarely sweat. I would kind of switch between the few machines that I knew and like a couple of free weights, elliptical, Stairmaster, treadmill, a couple of ab exercises, and other things that I remembered from Chloe Ting exercises. In those videos, they never really talk about proper form, and there's no one there that's watching you to say like, oh, your butt is too high, or like you need to straighten your shoulders, or like arch your back, or... While I started working with her, the first few sessions were tough, but really good. The most important things that we worked on were the most basic tenets of fitness, which I had done PE and I played sports in high school and middle school, but it was kind of unfortunate and sad that I didn't actually have that foundation built. And so we worked on proper breathing techniques, proper stability, and engaging my core. So like the most important thing that I did not realize that I wasn't doing was engaging my core. So I'd be doing all these exercises and just kind of going through the motions, but when I did a lot of the same exercises like, like arm raises or like bicep curls and squats, having to actually activate my core, that is what led me to become actually sore and start seeing results. Stability, you'd be surprised, like just lifting up your leg, it was a little bit hard for me to stay still and stay balanced. And then the breathing, that was so embarrassing because we started incorporating a little bit of cardio in the first few sessions, and at one point I got so lightheaded that like my vision kind of blacked out and I got extremely sweaty and dizzy and had to go lay down for like 5 to 10 minutes. And she realized that I wasn't breathing in and out with each rep. And so after that, we focused every session just like, while you're going up, breathe in, while you're going down, breathe out. And the results were hugely different. And it's funny because I always hear people at the gym like grunting and exhaling really hard, and I'd be like, I don't understand what that's all about. But when you're doing these exercises and breathing properly, like if you really want to push yourself, you kind of have no choice but to breathe loudly. And so now I don't feel as self-conscious at the gym when I do it, because I know like this is going to let me actually get these reps in and do it efficiently. After a couple sessions, I definitely started to feel different. My stomach got tighter, my arms kind of got some definition, and I started to feel really sore afterwards, but in the best way possible. She would give me homework and I would go and work on those, and like it would get easier and easier every time. And eventually we started doing more reps, adding some weights and like adding more complex exercises to keep my body like learning and pushing itself. But just seeing those results week after week was so motivating. You know, I kind of realized I'm like, this is what people do when they're addicted to the gym. I actually started sweating, which was awesome. Every session I would come out like pretty much drenched with sweat. More importantly, I think I kind of better understand the why and the how of fitness. So like, what exactly does each exercise do? How does this contribute to like a full body workout or like leg workout? Why do we do certain things like breathe properly and engage the core? And like, here's like how that pays off, you know, week over week. One of the big revelations that I've had lately is just like why workouts are structured the way that they are. People always talk about leg day and stuff, and I always thought it's like, oh, okay, just a convenient way for you to organize like your workouts. But it turns out that there is a strategy behind it. You want to work out certain parts of the body. You want to first activate it with some warm-up exercises and then really push yourself. Don't give yourself too much of a break in between, otherwise you're not really pushing yourself as much. And then you kind of alternate so that like one day you're working legs and then the next day you're working arms, and then you've incorporate like 1 or 2 rest days throughout the week, and then like that's how your body builds muscle. We're kind of at the end of 9 or 10 sessions. We're a little bit more than 2 months in, and this is kind of the aftermath. I don't look extremely different, but I feel a lot better. When I'm driving in the car or sitting in my seat, I find it to be so much more natural to like engage my core. It's almost more second nature to suck in and flex my stomach. I think at this point I'm still planning on working with her, but not as often as I have been at this point, because one, it is expensive. It really adds up after a couple of weeks. And so I need to be strategic on how, like with the rest of my budget, I'm allocating those sessions, because I don't want to just burn through them all and then just be done and never see her again. I want to kind of spread out the remaining sessions that I have in my mind mentally, so that we can set goals. Maybe I take like a couple weeks or a month to work on those, and then we get back together. She assesses my performance and then gives me new like programs or teaches me new things. So I am still like definitely at the very beginning of my fitness journey, but the most important thing is that you don't need a trainer to continually go down this path. But I feel like I've started to build like a really strong foundation. I actually know how to push myself at the gym, and because I've started to see results, I'm motivated to keep improving. I used to view the gym as like an optional thing to do throughout the week, but it's gotten to the point where like daily I'm thinking of it as like, oh, will I have a chance to go to the gym today? If not, let's make sure we go tomorrow. Or like on a weekly basis, like I plan to go at least 3 times a week so that I can get in, you know, arms, legs, and core, blah, blah, blah. So to kind of wrap up the video, you know, one question you're probably asking yourself, and, you know, I want to help answer, is should you work with a trainer? One, obviously, if you can allocate the budget for it, it is expensive. It is definitely expensive, but I really started to view this as an investment. So it's not like a couple $100s that I'm dropping over the course of like 2 months. It's really being spread out over a couple of years that I feel like I can then survive without working with a trainer, but I really know what I'm doing and I can maximize the time that I'm spending at the gym. I think that it worked for me because I started seeing results and getting excited about them, but I also didn't expect for her to teach me everything and have to rely on her. So I would be asking questions throughout session, making sure that I implement what she told me when I'm working out by myself in between sessions. Most importantly, try to understand the reason why we're doing specific exercises. So she would ask me like, where do you feel the strain when we're doing this exercise? And I'd point and she would, let me know if I'm correct. I never thought I would be the type of person that would work with a personal trainer, but I'm really glad that I did this. I hope you enjoyed this little anecdote and that it was maybe helpful if you've been thinking about this on your own as well. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.